Most people think to stand out in this business, you need to be the first one on top of the story or the person with the loudest voice or the biggest ratings. In truth, to stand out in the news business, you just need to ask the right questions and demand the right answers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the next segment of INN's next episode of INN's TweetLines Plus. I said before, watch at the end here because I said provoke, inform, change. The change is coming at the end. As it's up to us now that Trump has been elected, that we have to step forward and actually provide the gap. The minimum thing that I'm expecting, this is what I said about the pragmatics of voting for Trump. The minimum I'm expecting is that Trump will remove the government enough so that individuals can step in and do the job that's necessary. We've seen what the job the government does. We've seen what socialism is. And I think that what people don't necessarily understand is not simply about... And they do this again and again. I've seen this with LeBron James. I see this with a whole bunch of different people. You know. And let's use the terms within socialism. There are a number of progressives out there, and they are socialists. The progressive environment, the progressivism, is socialism. It is based on this non-human philosophy, a postmodern philosophy that nothing exists, everything is an illusion, a concept. And they worked on these concepts, and every time something goes off, like, oh, they had hope in Jill Stein. Oh, Jill Stein, she's now a traitor. Oh, she's now neoliberal. She's rolled in with Hillary Clinton. No, she was with Hillary Clinton all along. Same thing with Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton is just one aspect of the socialist environment. And the socialist environment, people they're always not talking about socialism. They're talking about the New World Order. The New World Order is socialism. The NWO is socialism. It is the socialist utopia. That's what they're working towards. And the main body that does the work for the goal of achieving a socialist utopia, the New World Order, is the UN. And it doesn't matter whether you're an environmentalist, because environmentalism, not real. It comes out of these same spirit cooking. You know, these spirit cooking that they're talking about with Podesta and Clinton. You know, the pedophilia they're involved with, the cannibalism. Guess what? The same thing was around Hitler time, and it was about in there was the environmental movement. Go look, do research on the SS, on the Waffen SS. Find out what their background was, and you will actually find that in the production, in the creation of the SS, you will find mediums like the lady that does the spirit cooking, working with Hitler, working with the founder of the SS to create an environment based on this whole Illuminati concept that humanity is fundamentally corrupt, that we are destroying the planet, and that in order to control the planet, in order to save the planet, we need to execute X number of people in order to have the planet cleansed. This is what the death camps were. The death camps, and this is why the death camps were allowed to happen. They said, "Well, we didn't know. Germany, they didn't know about the death camps." Yes, they did know about the death camps. The Germans knew about the death camps. Well, why didn't they do anything to stop? Why did all these people allow this to happen? Because what we're hearing today in the media, oh, it's just abortion. You're not actually killing people. You don't want a baby born into this world the way it's so bad like this. You have to allow these women to have their reproductive rights. So abortion is not about killing people. It's about having reproductive rights. And so the people who are killed, the babies who are killed, don't matter anymore. You'll see this actually in some of the legislation that will say that under abortion, the baby no longer has the right to exist. And this happens because of the socialist view of postmodernism. Everything's a concept, right? Kathleen Wynne, right? I would say she, but she is now gone out and banned the gender, because now there's a push on to remove gender bias in society. So there's no longer mother-father, there's no longer male-female anymore. It's a genderless society. So the random lump of matter, called Kathleen Wynne, she's now called the Premier of Ontario, has brought in this conceptual idea, and that has wiped out the name mother and father. You really can't use brother and sister anymore. You can't use he, she. A lot of the pronouns that would go along with the humanity, right? Because man is the species, can also be the species, so all the pronouns that go along with man are now completely gone. They've wiped that out, so there is no longer man the species anymore. So there's no longer a human being. We have conceptually removed the human being from existence. And this is how, in Nazi Germany, because this is the same mechanism that worked in Nazi Germany, you can say to the people, oh, don't worry, these people aren't being killed, we're providing them with a better life. And that's what euthanasia is. Euthanasia is, oh, these people are sick, they're uncomfortable, we're going to put them out of their misery. Right? We have the euthanasia laws coming back in again. Right? They call it assisted suicide. They're not calling it euthanasia anymore. They're calling it assisted suicide. And then this is a right to the quality of life issue. It's all coming out of the UN. This is the whole thing about the right thing. You have a right to the quality of life, and if your quality of life is not up to your standard, you have a right to end your life. And you have these people supporting this whole right to life thing, the right to the quality of life thing. And what are they doing? They're encouraging people to commit suicide. But they're not, the people will say, oh, we're not committing suicide. We're having assistance. It's being done by somebody else. It's not being done by my hand. It's being done by somebody else's hand. That's actually called murder. If somebody comes up and kills you, that's a homicide. Not anymore. It's assisted suicide, and now it's a right because it's a quality of life issue. This is socialism. Oh, the world is heating. It's a fact. It's a fact that global warming is happening because of carbon dioxide. No. If you go and study paleontology, you will find that carbon dioxide does not have a correlation with the temperature of Earth. Why is that so? Go into the chemistry and the physics of the carbon dioxide molecule. Carbon dioxide is heavier than air, right? Fill up a balloon with carbon dioxide, fill a balloon up with air, fill a balloon up with helium. The helium will float up and go away. The air will kind of be bouncing around and be more bound. The one filled with carbon dioxide falls immediately to the floor. When you have the clouds, right? The clouds, the dreamy clouds, and they make these visual effects, right? And it comes out of this box, right? You wonder what they put. They put these chunks of ice in, and all of a sudden, from these chunks of ice comes out this mist that crawls around along the floor. That's carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide does not respond. It does not mix in with air well because it's heavier than air and tends to fall out. This is why you have carbon dioxide in pop. It mixes with water. So you can have carbon dioxide in water. You can have carbon dioxide in the lakes. You have these bubbles on these volcanic lakes forming these carbon dioxide bubbles. And in Africa, we've seen them burst. And when they burst, they don't go up into the air. They don't form a geyser and go up into the air. They go along the ground and they kill everything along the ground. And we've had footage of this, of these volcanic carbon dioxide bubbles from these volcanic lakes. In other words, there's a lake, and underneath the lake is a volcanic crater. It creates a carbon dioxide bubble. The bubble bursts, and as the water bubbles up and fizzes, the gas goes along the ground, and anything that's sleeping along the ground dies. And so there's no real correlation in terms of the physics of carbon dioxide with the so-called greenhouse effect. As a matter of fact, the greenhouse effect is very misleading because in terms of being carbon dioxide, because go into a greenhouse. If you go into a greenhouse and you're able to come out again, then it's not carbon dioxide that's creating the greenhouse effect. In the greenhouse, if you walk in and then come back out again, it's not carbon dioxide, because if you walk into a carbon dioxide environment, you will suffocate. This is what happens when those volcanic lakes, they burst the bubbles for the carbon dioxide bubbles that go along the ground. What happens? The animals are choked. We breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. That is the natural process. The natural process for plants is they breathe in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. They're opposite to us. We breathe in oxygen and produce carbon dioxide. The plants breathe in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. So what happens is when you go into a greenhouse environment, but the gas that's being produced by plants is oxygen. The gas that's being consumed by plants is carbon dioxide. So you will not have a carbon dioxide rich environment in a greenhouse gas. You will have an oxygen rich environment. So what's causing the heat? Because we always go in there, we would notice that there is a lot of heat in a greenhouse. So what is causing that heat? Well, again, it's not difficult to tell this, is because all you have to do is go into any city that's by a lake or by any body of water. What's the problem in the summer? Humidity. Right? They have the humidex. And the humidex is the amount of water vapor that's in the air that causes a runaway effect on temperature, that causes the temperature to spike higher than it would be in terms if it was a dry heat, like in the desert. This is why people who have allergies, people who have arthritis, will do better in a dry heat climate than they will do in a sort of an environment that has a lot of humidity. Humidity really wreaks havoc with allergies, with arthritis, a lot of these sort of autoimmune problems. The humidity in the environment makes things worse. And even astronomers know this. You go to astronomy and ask them why they're building their telescopes on top of these mountains. And the reason why is they're getting away from the water vapor. They're above the water vapor level. They're not fully above it, but they're enough above it that it's a thin layer between themselves and outer space, the object they're trying to look at. Because the water vapor causes certain turbulences that causes the stars to twinkle. And this is one part of the OR project I was working on. If you look at my BTS vlogs, I'm working on a project called the OR project, this Oceanographic and Atmospheric Research Project, looking into the physics of the atmosphere. And what I'm able to do in terms of understanding, matching up the observation between what I get on the satellite and what I get on the ground, doing the ground observation, looking at the satellite at the same time, I do it at night, and I use the stars. And I know if a star is twinkling a lot, I can use the twinkle of the star to determine how much cloud layer is there, how much moisture is in the atmosphere, how much turbulence is, which is caused by moisture in the atmosphere, how much turbulence is going on. And this is the understanding of where the heat is coming from. But that's not what you're seeing on the UN. The UN is, oh, we have to get rid of people. They have to cull people. You have to get rid of the human animal. And Kathleen Wynne has bought into this. And so what is she doing? She's putting we're making energy cost its true cost. We're moving towards 100% renewable energy. Right? Windmills, solar power plants that cannot stand. They don't work none of these power plants, these so-called renewable power plants, they don't work 24/7. Only the diesel engines, only the hydroelectric and nuclear work 24/7. The rest of them require heavy element batteries, like lithium-ion batteries, heavy metal element batteries, in order to operate, because they can only produce 12 hours worth of electricity, and after 12 hours, so they require a lot of battery time in order to properly produce its electricity. And what's happening? You look in Toronto's news and you look at the poverty statistics. The poverty statistics are spiking. Why? Because every time these so-called environmentalists add another tax or add another environmental fee, the prices of food goes up. And the people who are poor cannot afford these prices. So the little that they had before, now they have even less. And so what happens now, Toronto and Ontario has a record number of people going to a food bank. This is humanity. This is your humanitarianism. This is philanthropy. And the thing is, remember they said that humanity doesn't exist. There is no longer he, she. It's it now. It's it. Kathleen Wynne, it created these laws. Jesse Ventura, it believes in this social globalist view, the UN view, the New World Order view, the socialist utopian view of environmentalism, which comes out of spirit cooking. It's Pizzagate. Pizzagate goes all the way back to the US, to the SS Waffen. Go back, you will find the same elements creating the SS as you have in Pizzagate. And you'll understand that socialism is not simply on the left on communist, it's on the right as well from Nazi. That Nazism, the Nazi Party stands for National Socialist. The National Socialists, the Nationalist Socialists, were nationalists. They were still socialists, but they were nationalists. They believed in this genetic identity, the national identity. This is America. We're making America great again. Still socialism, but now it's on the right. Same goals, same spirit cooking, same results. And it all is going on, this whole dynamic is going on at the UN. But what do we see? And because this is what's happening now on the internet now. You go on the internet, you go onto YouTube and try to make sense of all that stuff. Trump has already brought in a lot of change. What's happened? All the positions that have been there before are now reforming. They're changing. They're moving around. And now while everyone's talking about Pizzagate, we're talking about what's going on with the election, everyone's freaking out what's going on. What's happening in the world? Turkey, the puppet of the United States, is now they're moving on a ground war to try to assassinate President Bashar al-Assad. They're reinvading Syria again because nobody's paying attention. And they're using the terms that we would use to describe a humanitarian thing. This is Erdogan here. Erdogan has purged his army. He's killed a lot of people on his own people. He is now the next dictator. He is the next Saddam Hussein put in place by the UN. He went on to say in his estimate that almost 1 million people have died in the conflict of Syria. Although no monitoring group has provided any similar figures, the latest UN estimates stands at 400,000 people killed in the 5-year, they call it civil war. They're not mentioning that ISIS was created by the United States to overthrow Assad. No, this is it's a civil war. It's not a regime change, right? It's a civil war. Just saying, in Ukraine, it's not a regime change. It's a civil war. There's a conflict going on caused by Russia, right? When I understand this now that Syria, Assad, is a traditional Russian ally. And now there's a civil war. Not a regime change, a civil war. Even though Erdogan is going in to take out Assad, he's doing the American regime change. Erdogan says that Turkey could not endure the unending killing of civilians and had to enter Syria together with the Free Syrian Army, which doesn't exist. It's basically ISIS and al-Nusra. They're all the same groups. They're all funded by the United States, including Turkey. All the weaponry that's coming in there, it's all American. Why are you seeing all this American weaponry in Syria? Because it's being funded, it's being run by Syria, by the United States. People don't seem to understand, although some of them do, that ISIS, al-Nusra, and all those Free Syrian Army groups, all these different things, they're all ISIS. And they're all funded by the United States. Same thing with Saudi Arabia. Same thing with Qatar. Same thing with Turkey. This is where all the weaponry is coming from. And they're not Sunnis. I mean, they're not Shia. There are two groups of Muslims. There's Shia. The Shia are Iranians. The Sunnis are Saudis. They're Turkish. They're Qatarian. And these are the jihadists. The jihadists, the ones we talk about ISIS in the United States, right? Killing people. They're all Sunnis. They're all being done with American funding. And they create this fear of Islam so they can go back and say, oh, Islam is very dangerous. We have to be careful with Iran. We can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. So look at how dangerous the Muslims are. And the Muslims, historically, look at the history of Islam, you'll see how violent they are. You'll see Pizzagate in Islam. And the thing is, if you go in to study Jewish history, you'll find Pizzagate in history, and you'll find Pizzagate in the Talmud. And all this stuff ends up at the UN. A lot of the stuff that's going on, a lot of the pushes that's going on is with the UN here. And the thing is, the UN is, they talk about, they talk about, Pizzagate, right? No one ever mentions about the sex scandals, the scandals, the pedophilia that's going on at the UN refugee camps, under the watch, under the eyes of the UN. All right, so there you go back. That's it. One by one, all the socialists I've met always fall into some degree of the New World Order of the UN's dictates. But they tend to, Wynne is the problem. Hillary is the problem. Justin Trudeau was the problem. They identify the problems of socialism with the individual, not understanding that the individual, the person, the beast, the random lump of matter, Hillary Clinton, Kathleen Wynne, Justin Trudeau, are all products of socialist ideology. They're all products of the social utopia. They're all products of the UN. The UN is the New World Order. What Trump has shown here is that the New World Order, the UN, can be rattled and taken off focus. This is the understanding of Trump here, that the New World Order is not invincible, it is not monolithic, and it can be taken off focus. And as Trump comes in, and this is what we're seeing here, that the New World Order of the UN has been taken off focus. Now, what's coming up next, I urge you to watch this next segment coming up right after this. A little bit of a break here. We'll have the 10-second, not even, station identification, provoke, inform, and change. And then, my beginning to change. My first offer, the first option I'm going to bring about for change, and that is free and open education for anyone grades 3 all the way through to the PhD. If you want to become a researcher, you want to understand research, you want to do anything in the world with education, this is the free and open education system that's on the internet, can be accessed from anywhere. This is your opportunity to participate, to explore something new, and offer a real change towards this so-called textbook academics. If you want to go beyond textbook academics, you want to go beyond the mainstream understanding, this offer, which is free, no conditions attached, it's free, is for you, and I encourage you to inform other people who you think need to, or are interested in going off textbook. This is the university environment for you. Again, even though it's a university environment, it's research-based. Even kids as young as grade 3, 8 years old, can get into this. There's a path for them. Anyways, I'll see you in the next episode of INN's TweetLines Plus.
INN. Provoke, inform, and change. We deal with issues that other networks won't.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Dr. Daniel Karras, and I am the scientist, the researcher who created Academia University. You may also know me. You know me from INN's TweetLines Plus. And this is a general introduction because although you're going to be seeing this at the end of TweetLines Plus today, it's also going to be the general advertisement for the Free University, Academia University. As I said before, it's not enough simply to talk about change. If you're going to be talking, you actually have to get up and do something. The first part is talking, right? Provoke, get the person's attention, inform, give them some information, and then start working on the change. Now, sometimes the provoke and inform will cause the change on its own. But sometimes, in other cases, you actually have to get up and do the change itself. Offer something new, offer something different. Offer the different news program. I have a different perspective than a lot of other people do. I look at things in a manner that other people don't. Even though someone may say, oh, that's indoctrination, or this is indoctrination, you shouldn't include this, you shouldn't include that. I do include it because you do have to analyze things. You have to do the research on things in order to do the analysis. That other people wouldn't, because there's information there that you may have missed if you didn't do the analysis. In other words, just because something looks to be insignificant or not worth your while doesn't necessarily mean that it is. So you can't dismiss the things you think that are insignificant or incorrect and so on and so forth. If you say something's incorrect, okay, fine, it's incorrect. Understand why it's incorrect. Understand how the person who's presenting the information came to that conclusion that you view as incorrect. This is the thing. You've got to find out why things are. This is the whole purpose behind research. And ironically enough, most people don't do this type of research because they're not from the research environment. The standard environment today, your standard academic environment today, is a textbook academic environment. It comes from a particular perspective. It's confined to whatever's in the textbook there. Your professors confine you to your these particular views, and whatever the view of the professor is, you have to write and understand according to the professor. Otherwise, they mark you. They don't give you the proper marks. And, there's a number of ways they keep you confined within a particular point of view. This university was created to create an entirely different perspective of going to university. It's not about the marks, because there are no marks here. It's not about staying within the textbook, because there are no textbooks here. What it is library. The university is library research-based understandings of things. You go out and do this research based on your library. You build your library from research. And then as you build your library, this is where your courses come, your English, your history, your mathematics, your science, the computer science, all these other things that add to your understanding of things, and it gives you more capacity to understand. And like a good example, understanding computer science. Right? Everyone was talking about Pizzagate. You're talking about the emails here. What was on Twitter, what wasn't on Twitter, what was filtered out, what was not filtered out. You want to understand what's going on in terms of how media manipulates what's going on the internet? Well, that's computer science. And the thing is, a lot of this stuff that's in computer science isn't in the mainstream media. And it's not in your mainstream courses either. It's not in your textbook courses. You have to go outside the textbook. You do need, to a certain degree, a textbook to sort of give you your basic guidelines. But once you have your basic guidelines, then you can start going off and veering off and adding stuff to it that's simply not part of the textbook. But again, you don't know what it's going to be, because research is often very much, because of your starting point, it's random. It goes off in very random directions. And so you can't predict where the research is going to take you next. And this is why you can't dismiss information that's coming into you. You sort of collect it, you bring the information in, and then you somewhat sort it initially into various different categories, whatever categories you decide that they should be arranged in. But as your experience grows with research, you can go back in and reorganize your books and reorganize your notebooks, reorganize your notes, depending on how your experience and understanding changes. And this is the essential of Academia University. And why is this a change? Because Academia University is open and free. There is no entrance requirements, and there is no tuition fee. All you need is a computer and a connection to the internet. And I've done the required work. I've been able to fit this tablet here. I've got the tablet here, I'll show you. Okay, this is my tablet. And I've been able to fit on here, I've been able to fit everything required. And that tablet cost me about $100. So for $100, you can get a tablet that allows you to fit the entire university experience on there. There is a link that I'll be putting below called Academia, aka DHMIA University.blogspot.com. It's at a blog there. You don't have to sign up for anything. That gives you the instructions on how to start. You can be any age. There is no age restriction. So if you want to enter it in, if you're in grade 3, you're 8 years old, you think, hey, you're smart enough, you want to do this? Go ahead, no problem. There is no age restrictions. There are no interest restrictions, and there is no fees. I'm not charging any tuition. There's no fees to get set up. Nothing. It is completely an open and free education system, but it is research based. It's about building that library. And if you want to have some help and guidelines, well, BTS vlogs, my BTS vlog that I set up, they're all about the research that I'm doing. It's all about how I did my research. And you don't have to do what I did, but if you want to take some hints and get some ideas on where to start and how to build, well, it's all there. And the thing is, I will be producing more videos specifically for Academia University on Academia University TV, or called Academia University TV, or AKA UTV. I will be providing, filming various different shows, various different tutorial videos that will help you shape your education as you move along. So, I hope this helps. I said this is change. This is change. This is my first offering for change. I encourage you to go take a look at it. As I said, the university is free. All the necessities in terms of getting into the university is free, because I base it on the Google Plus platform. The Google platform has everything you need, including the ways to present things like YouTube and blogspot.com. They have all these different things that are free, that you can sort of give yourself a way of presenting the information. And the way you end up getting a degree, in order to get your degree, your bachelor's degree, you have to set up your presence on the internet and demonstrate that you have the capacity at this particular level. In other words, in addition to the paper, the real meat behind your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, your PhD, is the presentation that you have on the internet. In other words, the visibility. Your internet presence, your virtual presence, is what determines the quality of the degree that you have. Anyways, I hope this helps, and I will see you either on TweetLines Plus or BTS Vlog, or anywhere on CyborgAlphaTV-Network. I hope you try out this free university. It's free. No restrictions. You can be anywhere in the world. See you then.
INN. Provoke, inform, and change. We deal with issues that other networks won't.
Welcome to the library, and I am the librarian. I am the professor. And professor of what? Professor of physics.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Free speech rules here at Democratic Earth.